I've been in places where people are hardworking, but they're not necessarily warm. And I've been in places where people are really warm and welcoming, but they're not necessarily really dedicated or committed. They're just friendly. And nothing wrong with those things, but Plainfield brings those things together in a way that I think really makes it unique and special.
You have a small town feel with big town attitude. You can have a successful business. You can do just about anything you want to do, but yet you can still walk downtown. You still know your neighbors. You don't have to lock your doors all the time, or feel like you have to lock your doors all the time. You still have that ability to be successful, be in business, do what you want to do, but yet still have a nice small town feel like you know your neighbors.
Plainfield is an interesting town. I think that it is a good balance between classic suburbia, so you have your commuters that go from here to Chicago on a daily commute just for their profession. But you also kind of have the small town feel that comes with a lower population scale and even a more rural environment. So plenty of cornfields here to just see cool sunsets on, and a lot of friendly people that gives you kind of that farm town vibe.
There's a great history. There's a great missions history in Plainfield. I love the missional and spiritual roots of the city of Plainfield, and there's some really warm, welcoming people there.
We're not necessarily Naperville on a large scale or Aurora on a large scale. We don't want to be, I don't think. My opinion is that it's got a farm community mentality of hardworking people, and I think that's the attraction and uniqueness about it.
My name is Dan Painter, and I am the campus pastor here at Grace Pointe Plainfield.
My name is Chad Holstead. I am the president of Business Knowledge Systems.
Yeah, my name is Jared Sealand. I'm an associate pastor here at Grace Pointe Plainfield.
Hi, I'm Derek. I'm the lead pastor at Grace Pointe Church, a multi-campus church in the Naperville, Plainfield, Geneva area of Chicago.
My name is Sean Horton. I'm 56 years old. I'm married, been married for 19 years. I have 2 kids. My son, Caden, is 16. My daughter, Eliza, is 11. And we've been in Plainfield for 13 years. And we absolutely love it.
Anyone who lives in this area knows that Naperville and Plainfield and Geneva are very different places. You would never confuse really even Plainfield with Joliet, even though they're somewhat outside of the city of Chicago. They have some farming areas and communities in them. But Plainfield, just from a values standpoint, just from the way that it views the world and it operates, is different than Naperville. Naperville has a tendency to be kind of an older city, a more established city, and that tends to be oriented really in the direction of opportunity and family. It has created a hub of a downtown. It's a place where a lot of people want to be in terms of their business center. A place like Geneva is a place that is built on Americana. And it has this great expression of connectedness. In fact, when you get into that city, there's a sense of web of connections. When you go to Plainfield, though, it really doesn't matter where you come from. There's a lot of people who move to Plainfield for the housing, and they got there because they said, listen, let's move outside the city a little bit. We can afford a little bit more. And what they discovered when they arrived is that there was a community that said, welcome, we're so glad that you're here.
So originally, my wife and I moved here because we were from Naperville, and we could not afford Naperville. But once we got here, the community is why we have stayed.
What brought us out here is we wanted to build ourselves a house, and the only way we could afford one was to move further south and further west, and that led us to Plainfield. Didn't know a whole lot about the city, but we knew the schools were good, and we knew we had two young kids that were going to be starting school. So our attraction to Plainfield was the value, again, being able to build our home, and then secondly was the schools, to be able to provide our kids with good quality education from a good school system.
People in Plainfield, if if there's an opportunity that is valuable, they know they're not going to waste their time. People here are willing to be a part of it. They're willing to do what needs to be done as long as they know that it matters. As long as they know that it really is something that's significant. But at the same time, it's not just getting the task done. There really is a sense of community here where people, they're not just out to get things done, they care. And so I would say that there is a sense in which, Plainfield is dedicated, is a place where people work hard. But at the same time, in the middle of that hard working is that blend of that warm, kind, caring community.
I think Headstrong is a good descriptor of Plainfield. It's got a little bit of a negative connotation to it. You know, I'm headstrong. That means I'm very closed off. I think proud is maybe a little bit better. They're very proud of what we have in Plainfield here. There is a sense of belonging, a sense of growth, a sense of we've accomplished this. Plainfield had their biggest setback in 1990 with the tornado. I think the growth and just even the word grit might be part of it, is just the amount of, you know what, this is our town, we're going to keep growing it, we're going to keep doing it. You're welcome to come, but this is Plainfield.
It's deeply rooted in us that Plainfield has a unique identity, and it's because so many people carved the way for us to come, us younger generation. Headstrong and Ardent are great words for it. I think we can kind of boil down the motivation of what makes us headstrong, what makes us ardent, and I think that there's identity in just the deep-rooted nature of the town.
Headstrong can be a good thing, and I think Plainfield is headstrong in the ways that it focuses on things, it gets things done, but it also can be headstrong in a negative way, in the fact that things don't get done as quickly as they maybe should. So headstrong is good. But it's also can be a negative thing and based on how this community grows. Ardent, yes, very passionate, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. There's a lot of good things developing within our community. But you know, where's that passion focused at? Is it passion based on for certain individuals to grow financially? Or is it for the good of the community and the diversity which comes from that as we grow into our own selves?
How do we move forward effectively without losing the best parts of who we've been? My sense is that there's a bit of a tension culturally where we're trying to, because we're in process, because we're developing, we haven't yet landed on who we really are.
It is trying to put a goal on something that is not there. You know, there is conversation about new roads going in, about where we're going to put this industrial park, where we're going to put this next residential community. And that's stuff, once again, that's not unique to Plainfield, but I think the struggle, the heartache right now is defining what that growth is going to be for Plainfield. What we are trying to become is still written in you know, it's not written.
Yeah, I think there's natural friction anytime that we're trying to advance. And I do see it as an advancement. I think that the way the Plainfield has been developing into a more populous town, it's not really plausible to have thousands of acres of farmland around here anymore. And so I think that it is less of a stark contrast between the more entrepreneurial side, business-centered Plainfield, that the government's right now trying to encourage. In farming, I think that it's more of a transition from one kind of industriousness and motivation and headstrongness into another kind.
Growth in the sense of healthy growth is the fact that you invite people and you invite what they have to assimilate that within the community that you're in. And I think Plainfield struggles with it. I think it's headstrong in the fact that it wants to remain in the past, but the future is calling. And the future is calling for diversity and more people that look different than what Plainfield looks like.
It's always better to be a little bit more proactive than it is to be reactive. And I think a part of the heartache of being reactive is, but things are changing. Things aren't the way that they were. I don't know everybody. It's not the way that it was. And that's tough. That's tough as you look forward into the next century. It's tough as you look at the next phase of the city. I think there's a lot of unique opportunities for Plainfield. I think there's incredible business opportunity for Plainfield. First of all, the Chamber of Commerce has done a great job at inviting businesses to come in and making businesses feel welcomed. And if there was something that I would encourage Plainfield to do from just a business perspective, it's to ask questions like, why aren't there more B&Bs in Plainfield? Why aren't there any hotels welcoming others in Plainfield? If we're so welcoming, then why do you have to move here to realize it? And so I think they can capitalize on their hospitality and on their warmth a little bit more. I really do. I also think they can capitalize on their sense of rural community a little bit more, and that would make them somewhat unique for this area. You know, Naperville doesn't have hay rides, or it's not trying to be country. It's not even its aspiration. It's not the aspiration of Aurora. It's not the aspiration of Bolingbrook. It's not the aspiration of Oswego. And so I think Plainfield can say, look, this is not about Americana. This is about where country meets real life. And so we want to bring you forward in a way that reminds you of the beauty of the past, but at the same time, be intentional about inviting you here to experience what the city has to offer.
I think it's a place of potential. There's lots of great things that are already here, and I love that. But I also believe that it has great potential for even more things, and I love that because it means we've got something to build from and something to build to, and boy, what a I don't know. It like I said, it's a great opportunity. I love the fact that we've got that history, but we also have room and opportunity to grow and move forward. And who knows what the future holds in that process.